Hello there, and welcome to Dharma Science Radio. My name is Ian, and today we're talking about projectors, generators, and the nature of what a question is all about.
And you see, this is the special relationship that exists between the projector and the generator as an ideal. See, the generator, with all its incredible power, it needs to respond. It is only going to live out the beauty of its power if it has something correct to respond to. As a manifester, I find it very difficult to ask generators or anybody else anything. It's not really my trip. Manifestors are not that kind. We're not very good at that. At least we can inform once in a while, But I mean, projectors are designed to see the need and potential of every generator. They're here to be of service to the generator. I mean, that's what they're here for. They're the ones that are here to ask the question. They're the ones that are here to make the invitation. They're the ones who get the generator to respond. And of course, they want something in return. Quid pro quo. It's the way it goes. This is the potential honesty. Because, of course, after all, that relationship is a relationship that can only operate through respect. It's one of the things that I've tried to teach projectors. Learn to ask questions. It's Socratic, It's so beautiful intellectually if you grasp it. There is nothing more profound than a good question. I mean, I love good questions. When you think about the generator session, generators asking each other questions, how profound that is, how powerful that is, how amazing that is. And yet most generators are very insecure about what questions to ask somebody. It's like it's not... I remember, Marianne, you made this list of all, examples of the kinds of questions you can ask. But you see, projectors are natural because they're actually designed not to ask you questions that don't matter. They're here to recognize you. And they recognize you in a way that nobody else can. It's why we are so uncomfortable with the not self-projector. Because that not self-projector... We lost the light. Okay. The not self-projector, it just goes right in there, burrows in. It can be so uncomfortable. And when they're not correct, it's very uncomfortable. But when they are, when you need them, they're the ones that go inside you. They're the ones that go right to your identity. They put their little auric fist right around your monopole, and they just hold on like this and they say, I gotcha, and I know who you are, And they go through this process where in that whole auric movement are all these little investigative things going on. They're sucking up all the data. They're taking it all in. And you see if they're right, if they're correct. The question that they can then ask is a question that's worthy for the generator to respond to one way or another. It's not about, don't misunderstand what I'm saying. It is, it's not that the projector will always ask the right question in terms of the answer's always yes. Sometimes the right question brings no, so it should, It is simply about knowing what question to ask. See, if you're a projector and you want to have a great experiment with people and really have a trip with them, whenever they talk to you, only ask them a question in return. No, it's quite an experiment, It takes incredible discipline. And you really have to be sharp. But it's wonderful. And you'll notice right away which people are annoyed. And the ones that are annoyed, you scratch them out of your little book. Okay? You know? Because they don't want you to be a projector. They just want your attention. Nothing else. See, projectors are humanity's teddy bears. Not Randy. They are. You know, it's I have somebody who pays attention to me. You know? I mean, if you're bored or lonely, invite a projector to lunch. You'll feel like a king or queen for the day. They're going to give you all that attention. They're going to focus on you. It's going to feel terrific. You're going to feel wonderful.
There is something so inherently magical about a question. When we begin a conversation with a question, we have already gotten rid of the potential we have to simply tell somebody else what to do. This is a fundamental disrespect in all of life. There is no design that is simply made to be told what to do. Each and every living individual alive today has what's called an inner authority. This mechanism within them that allows them to make decisions as a unique individual human being and further their unique intelligence potential so that there is the possibility to reflect consciousness in a different way and to share a gift that's hiding latent within the individual. And that gift is unlike anything anybody else could ever give. And so the magic of a question is in the cultivation of bringing about that unique gift. For as Ra said, the right question does not necessarily mean yes, it does not necessarily mean no, and also it does not necessarily mean either. The right question simply is a pressure to fuel the thinking and conceptualizing process in the ajna, or the mind. For you see, questions, also called gate 63, the gate of doubt, this is in the head center, which aims toward the ajna. Now, the ajna is where awareness is within the thinking realm. This is who we think we are. And in the head center, it's merely a pressure. It's merely a fuel that pressurizes thinking to occur. And so these questions are part of the logical process of developing collective answers, and they're not personal. Something very important to realize is that a question is fundamentally not a personal thing, even if a person is asking you a personal question. It might seem personal, and yet it's part of this collective process. It's part of this process of developing answers for the purpose of having something to share with others that can then be put into practice, and we can see how it works. And so projectors are specifically designed to ask the right questions. This is due to the nature of their seeing. They're seeing into the magnetic monopole, seeing into the core, the soul of another human being. And they can see clearly how when somebody is out of alignment with their truth, it causes them problems. And so I have a question for you if you happen to be a projector watching this. Have you played the question game that Ra proposed a moment ago? This notion of asking people questions. Don't give them statements, simply ask them questions and to see who gets annoyed or not. My pessimistic imagination in this case wants to see that, well, almost everybody would get frustrated or annoyed at you if all you do is ask questions, and yet I'm not a projector. I don't know what it's like to be in one of those bodies, and so there is the possibility that depending on who you're around, depending on how you ask your questions and what the timing is, you might find things unfold a little bit differently. You know, I'm a generator, and so Ra's similar test for me as a generator or experiment to play with is to not open my mouth first, is to wait for the other to speak to me first so that I can then respond. You know, I'm a generator after all. And so it's kind of a fun game to play. I've seen what happens when I do not open my mouth first and speak with other people, and it's become, in a sense, a lot of what I do. I don't necessarily speak first most of the time. There is so much more power behind my voice when I am waiting to respond to something. because that gives context. That gives the timing for the response. If I simply try to initiate and speak to everybody I see, then the timing is out of whack. And that's how I would know my mind is trying to get me to talk and to say or to share this thing, like I have to make you see the way I see. And it just doesn't work that way. Each one of us sees in a different and unique way. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
If you have enjoyed the show and would like to learn more about how all of this applies specifically to you, then kindly refer to the link in this video's description, Private Consultation. Here, we can dive into all of the details together in a recorded call. May your signature vibration of satisfaction, success, peace, and surprise find you in a good way.